For today we're playing Skull and Bones with 6 different GPUs. Now before we start, I want to thank Ubisoft for sending me an early access code to test the game out and see how it runs. And yeah, for you guys, I won't be biased obviously. If the game lags or stutters, I'll let you guys know. But spoilers, it runs quite well on the PC. Okay, first card's the RTX 3080. And we're playing at 4K at the max settings with RT enabled as well. So let's go into the settings and hit me up with that. There we go. And yeah, let's jump into it, see what we can get. Alright, here we are in the game. I am parked on this little island. Let's go back onto the ship though. And head on out. Got my nice little ship. I love it. Set sail. And yeah, there we go. We are loading in. And we can embark on our journey. So yeah, so far we're sitting in the 80s. From my experience, on average, I'm sitting in the 70s and 60s. And with this preset, it does quite well. The game doesn't stutter or lag at all. It's a very nice experience the entire way through. Now there's one area where the FPS can fall below 60. It's not really in free roam or actually during any gameplay, but it's in the main city hubs. So I'll show you guys in a second. Is this a player? I don't think so, right? I'm gonna attack this guy. Oh wait, is this a player? He's level 2. You know what? Let's go for it. Let's attack him. Screw it. Yeah! We're doing fine? Yeah, this guy's low on health. We got this, right? I do love the combat in this game. It is quite fun. And yeah, even during this, the FPS is quite stable. Doesn't stutter, doesn't lag. We are chilling. Let's go. Let's go. We got the ship. Okay, let's head on out to the main city, which is all the way over here. St. Anne. Let's go and head on out. I'll show you guys the FPS falling. It's not really due to the GPU. I am getting bottlenecked there. So if you have a newer CPU, or I guess a newer system, you might be fine. Or if you have an older system, it might be a bit worse for you. For our VRAM, we're sitting at 7 gigs. This card has 10 in total, so we're fine there. And system RAM's at 16 almost. Actually, I'm 15.5, so we're doing fine there as well. This game is quite efficient in that aspect. We're almost there at the main city. Alright, here we go. And yeah, so far, we are in the 70s. That's quite good, obviously. The game looks very nice. It's very sharp. I love the graphics. But at times, the FPS will fall below 60 FPS in this section. So if I go around, occasionally the FPS will fall down. So far, it's quite stable, actually, in the 60s. I've had a couple stutters, but it's not really too major. It's quite smooth all around, pretty much. But yeah, this is the only area that I've seen the FPS fall below 60 FPS. I think the lowest was around the high 40s. But that's about it. In every other section, it's sitting in the 70s and 60s quite easily. The game doesn't stutter for the most part. It's very smooth and quite optimized, to be honest, on the PC. Okay, let's back out, guys. Use our second GPU and see what we can do there. For our second card, we're using the RTX 3060 Ti, and we're playing at 440p at the max settings. Alright, here we go with that. There we go. So starting it off in the main town, or the main city area. As you guys can see, the FPS does fall down here. I couldn't show it with the 3080, but it's happening now. And yeah, it does fall down into the 50s and the high 40s at times. As you guys can see, our GPU usage is down into the 70s and the 80% usage, so it is being held back, so it might not be an issue for you, but on my system, I am having it at times. Now, regardless, this area is just a hub. It's mainly used for crafting stuff and going for quests, so the FPS dips aren't really as important as the actual main game, which honestly, it's very stable in the actual game. Back onto the main ship. Let's go and sail, and we can go fight someone and see how we go. But yeah, at the max settings, the game looks fantastic. And with DLSS, it still looks very sharp and very nice. So it's definitely usable at this resolution. Now I do have motion blur enabled by default. I'm going to go disable it first because it does make it look a bit worse. And yeah, right now looks much better when I pan the camera. Now for the FPS, we are sitting in the 60s and 70s on average. Again, it's quite fantastic. There's no stutters, there's no lag spikes. It is doing quite well. Now for the VRAM, we are sitting at 7.6 gigs. This card only has 8 in total, so we are cutting it close. But overall, in my experience, it does fine, so not really a big issue. Now, if the game does stutter for you, just play at a lower preset, and it should be all fine there. Alright, there's a ship right there. Let's go after it. So overall, with this card, the game plays quite nicely, and looks really nice as well. Now you have the option of playing at 1440p and playing at 60 FPS and above. It does cut it close and it does fall below it at times, but for the most part it is quite stable. Or you can play at 1080p obviously and get far better frames, but you are losing some of that clarity and sharpness that you get at those higher res. Alright, time for the next card, guys. Let's back out and go there instead. For our next GPU, it's the RTX 4060, and we're playing at 1080p at the max settings. Alright, here we go with that. There we go. So as you guys might know, this card is very similar in terms of raw power to the RTX 3060 Ti. So if you do want to play at a high resolution, then obviously watch the previous segment and your FPS will be quite similar to that one. Okay, the ship is damaged. Let's fix it up first. And let's go on out. So yeah, we are playing at 1080p here. And the game looks quite nice. A bit softer to be honest at 1080p. And if you're wondering how DLSS looks, it looks the same as TAA. So if you disable DLSS and enable TAA, the game will look as soft as it does now. So ideally with this card, have DLSS on the whole time. The game looks nice and you get free FPS. So you might as well have it on. Now for the FPS, we're sitting in the 90s and the 100s here. Free loot, I'll take that. It's very smooth, guys. It's very responsive. Can't feel any stutters, of course. This game is quite optimized on PC, which I'm a big fan of. I think last year we had a bunch of issues with releases just being trash ports on PC, but this year it's been much better. In free roam, can't really see any ships around here. There's a bunch back there. I'm gonna turn back around and go after them. Now one cool thing about this is you can go ahead and switch your camera point of view to first person, and the game looks much more immersive. And at those high resolutions, it looks incredible here. Super sharp, super clear. I just love it. Free loot, please. There we go, got it. So yeah, the option is yours. You choose what you like and go with that instead. Time for a battle. Brace. Get rammed. Alright, come on guys. Let's use the front cannons. Get rammed. Okay, board the ship. Come on, let's board the ship. This is our ship now. Wait, is he shooting at me? Are you sure about that, buddy? I'm a bigger ship. Alright. Let's go back to the main town. Again, this area is the only one where the FPS actually falls quite a bit. At least in my experience. And it isn't consistent, to be honest. The 3080 was fine at above 60 FPS. But with the previous card, it did fall down to the high 40s and the 50s. So it can be a bit inconsistent in this section. But regardless, again, it's just the hub. You're there for the quest and crafting. It's nothing serious. Now, with the 4060, it is holding 60 FPS just fine. And right here, our GPU is down to 80% usage / 70% usage. So we have plenty of headroom if you have a more powerful system. Cool, that is the 4060 done. Time for our next GPU. See you guys then. For our next GPU, it's the RTX 2070. And we're playing at 1080p at the very high settings. So yeah, this card does quite well, to be honest. On average, it's sitting in the 60s and the 70s in free roam. And in the town, again, it's quite inconsistent, so it's hard to tell what FPS you're going to get. But for me, I can get 60 FPS, but at times it can fall into the 50s and the high 40s. So yeah, that's the 2070 done. We have two to go, the 3050 and the 2060. I mean the 1060. And I think the 1060 is the only card that can't hold a stable 60 in this game. But it makes sense, the card is from 2016, so it's very old at this point. And the fact that the game is playable at all is quite impressive, to be honest. Second last GPU, the RTX 3050. And we're going for the same settings as the 2070. Hopefully it's playable. Let's jump into it. And yeah guys, so far we are sitting in the low 60s and the mid 60s. So obviously a bit lower than the 2070, but still quite playable if you have this card. The game looks nice, plays nice, no stutters. But again, keep in mind that I'm testing one CPU here. So if you are pairing this with an older CPU, you might have a lower FPS at times. So keep that in mind. But yeah, regardless, on the GPU side of things, it does just fine. Alright, this is my ship now, buddy. Just give it up. Is this guy attacking me? Is he for real? Does he want to get destroyed like this guy? Alright, that's it. You're getting shot. This guy is dumb as hell. He saw me destroy a bigger ship with ease, and he shoots me. Wait, it's kind of tanky, actually. What's happening here? I'm lower health. Okay, you know what? I'm going to apologize. I'm going to leave this way. I will see you later, my friend. He's going to kill me. Please, go. Quick. But yeah, regardless, this is our performance for the 3050. Again, in the town, I am sitting in the 60s with diffs down into the 50s and the high 40s. Last GPU, the GTX 1060, and we're playing at the lowest preset with FSR at 1080p. There we go. Again, this game is a next-gen only game on PS5 and Series X and S, so the fact that it supports the GTX 10 series is quite impressive. And yeah, so far in the game, we are in the 50s, but I do gotta fix my ship up. Now for the graphics, they do look kind of basic. It's kind of blurry and there's no detail in them. As you guys can see, the trees on the island look pretty poor. Not great quality to be honest, but again, this card is very old, so it makes sense. For the water, it's about average. It's not too bad, but it's not as amazing as those higher presets. But in free roam, again, we are sitting in the 60s and the 70s on average. So we have a bit of headroom left over to play at a higher preset, like medium for example, and get a better looking game with decent performance. And if you don't care about 60 FPS, then you could play at even a higher preset, like the high preset or the very high settings, and target 30 FPS. So yeah, you choose what you like and go with that instead. I think for this card, a mix of low and medium is the way to go, and all around should be a decent experience. Finally, the last point, if you are using a 1060, you're most likely pairing it with an older CPU. I'm not sure how this runs on an older CPU to be honest. It might be pretty bad, so you keep that in mind. But other than that, it does play fine on a 1060. Okay, I think that's about it guys. Thanks for watching. Thank you to Ubisoft for sending me an early access code again. Appreciate it guys. And yeah, see you guys next time, next video. Bye.